Hilches Shluchin V'Shutfin, Inyan Elo Halachas Leida, Din Shluchi Shalodem V'Shutfei, Mishpateyem B'Mikron Umemkoren B'Fseidnu Schoran Ubir Kol Adin Mo'elu B'Prokim Elu Peirik Rishon. So over here again, there's no of the Taryag mitzvahs in Hilchis Shluchim V'Shutfim, just like there weren't any in Hilchis Chiyam Matana, there weren't any in Hilchis Chenim. So al der is a Hilchis Shluchim V'Shutfim. There are none of the Taryag mitzvahs here. The halachas is dealing the din. The Ram says Leida Din Shluchi Shalodem V'Shutfei. So l'chura that means how do you become a shliach? How do you become a shutef? That's l'chura the pshat. Din Shluchi Shalodem V'Shutfei. How do you become a shliach and how do you become a shutef? And also mishpateim b'mikchon u'memkoron b'fseidnu schorim. Now the tzad hashava b'pashtus of shluchim and shutfim is that someone is doing something for someone else. In other words, a shliach means someone is doing something on someone else's behalf. Now that is a shutef. Each person is doing something for both of them. So that's b'pashtus the what's in common between shluchim and shutfim. Just one hagdama. In shlichus, when you say shlichus, and the Rambam will discuss here shlichus. There's two agdoras in shlichus. There's one agdor in shlichus where somebody asks someone to do something for him. So it's not really a shliach in the sense of we're saying that this second person is making up a chales for the first person. He's doing an act for this person. He's going to bring something for the person. Reuven asks Shimon to bring something for him. So the chur it's not shliach. Shimon is doing something for Reuven, but he doesn't have to have any din shlichus. In other words, you won't say that Shimon has to be a pseroy l'shlichus. Lepel, Shimon was the person that was that Reuven asked him to bring something, and then there's another mitzvah where Reuven asks Shimon to affect something, to make a chales for him, just like we have in the Ger Kedushin, that you could be mishalech. A man could send a shliach to be mekadosh isha for him. So it's not only psam ma'isa. He's making a chales kedushin for him. Well, there is he could make a chales gerushin for him. So al derech zeh, you could make a kinyan for someone else. In other words, you could send someone to be a shliach to go ahead and buy something for you. You could send someone a shliach to go ahead and sell something from you. So over there, it's not stam azeh, you're sending someone to do something. Over there, that person is affecting the chales for you. And then he has to have a din shlichus. L'moshu, if it's a goy, you can't send a shliach, a goy, to go affect, because he doesn't have a din of a shliach. But on the other hand, those shlichusim, which are just a shikingul, that he should go ahead and do something for him, he should do something, and there's dinim. When he asks him to do something, what's the din? L'chur over there, it's not, the Rambam combines these two in yon, because both of them you're sending someone to do something. But lepel, there's a difference. Sometimes you send someone to do something, just a ma'aser cave ba'alma, just you're doing it, but it's not he's affecting a chales on your behalf. Masha'enkin, there's sometimes where you're affecting chales, and l'chura there would be different dinim, as we'll see b'hamshach. The Rambam doesn't discuss this nekuda here, but l'chura it's pashut. Halacha aleph, ha'ema l'shluchei tzei u'mecherli karka imetalkelim. Oiknoili, so he's authorizing, he's charging him to go ahead either to sell something for him or to buy something for him. So the din is ariza mecher v'likeach ve'eser shlichusei. So this person that was given this shlichus could go ahead and sell or buy, and he does a shlichus, and v'chol ma'aser kayom. So normally if a person goes ahead and sells someone's item, or you go buy something for someone, that person doesn't never authorize them to do it, so that is meaningless. Masha'ik, since he was authorized to be a shliach, so he could buy on that person's behalf, and he could sell on his behalf. To make someone, to charge someone, and that person should have it in shliach. There's no din kinyan for it. You don't need edim. One person tells another person, even though they're only the two of them are there, and he charges him with this shlichus, so that person becomes a shliach, and he has the ability to buy for him and sell for him. If one of them denied something, there's an argument, and the question is what actually happened, so then you'd need edim. Kishar kol hatainis. But the etzem inyan of the minu yashlichus is not something which needs a kinyan, and not something which needs edim. Now shliach sha'avar al direi mishalche. If the shliach went ahead, he was charged with a certain responsibility to go ahead and sell, or to go ahead and buy. And lepel, he was over al direi mishalche. He didn't do what his mishalech told him to do. Is lo yosakum, so that's nothing. So in other words, if he told him to sell this and he sold something else, told him to buy that and he bought something else, obviously, so he doesn't have a shlichus. The shlichus is only to do what the mishalech told him to do. V'chein im to'ah b'kol shu. If he did what the mishalech told him to do, but he made a mistake and he didn't do it properly, bein bekarka, bein b'metalton l'chezer. In other words, he goes ahead and he tells him to sell karka, and he sold it below its real price, or he told him to buy something, and he bought it above its real price. So then, is chezer. So the Mishalech could be chezer, shari yoemer, because the Mishalech time is l'takash l'chusi. The whole purpose of my sending you was only l'takim, to be masakin. But is not to fakrim things, not to make things worse. So if I sent you a shlichus and you ended up doing something which wasn't really advantageous for me, so it's not a shlichus. It's keilu he was of it. Al dirim mishalchi. There's a din of eino. Eino, there's a din that if lepel, if it's less than a sixth, so then it's considered a mechila, and certain things bechlal there's no eino. There's no eino karka and avodim and shtoras. There's no eino. She says v'li omrish eino b'metalton l'shtus, that only if you overcharge a sixth is it considered a problem. And if it's less than a sixth, we say b'pashtus mechila. And also v'avodim v'shtoras v'karkois ein b'meino. We learned that avodim shtoras and karkois there's no eino. That's only b'meicher shalei akein lasmi. When a person sells his own object or he buys something for himself, so then we say that if it's less than a shtus, it's not eino. If it's karkas, also there's no din of eino. Avol shliach shetor b'kulam b'kolshu. If lepel the shliach was teya, so then it's chezer. So then the mashalech time is it's not a shlichus. It's just like we learned that if the shliach was over al dirim mishalchi, so memela it's not a shlichus. Al derazeh, if the shliach was teya, so he was teya. So he says l'tkunish l'aticha. My whole shlichus was only if you're going to do something good for me. Mashenkin, if it's lavis, if lavusi, if you're doing something bad for me, so when muchatchili you're not a shliach. That's pashut. Halacha gimel nasan mois l'shluchei liknis lekarka. Person gave money to a shliach to buy karka. V'kana le shlei b'achrayis, and he bought this karka shlei b'achrayis. Normally you buy karka, you have achrayis, even if there's a shtar. Doesn't say achrayis. We never on there was achrayis, so he's safer. Over here he bought the karka and there's beferish no achrayis. The person that was selling the karka didn't take achrayis. So they didn't hareze ivos. It's definitely an ivos. It's something which you could taina. That's not a good deal. It's not you made for me not a good deal. Memela, so vashliach loikeach esel atzmai. So it has a din ki'ilu, like the shliach bought the karka for himself, shalei b'achrayis k'meishasa, and then the choizru mechel mishalech b'achrayis. No, it's not really his field, because lepel he used the mishalech's money. So how could it be his field? It's ki'ilu. You have to say it's ki'ilu. It's his field. In other words, it's ki'ilu his field, and he's reselling it. And it says v'choizru mechel ki'ilu. There's a ma'aser mechira l'mishalech b'achrayis. Because hail v'kona esav me'esav, since he bought it with his money, so therefore it has to go back to the mecher. And v'hachra is el shliach. So b'kitzer, if a shliach goes ahead and makes this mistake and he buys a karka with the money of the mishalech, shlei b'achrayis, so we consider it as if the shliach himself bought the karka for himself, and now the shliach is selling this karka to the mishalech, and he's taking achrayis to the mishalech from himself. Now the ma'aseh is it's l'chura a bissel shver, because earlier we learned that if the shliach was ma'avis, it was lavusi, so l'chura he could tell choizer, he's choizer in the wholesale. So why are we saying over here that the shliach is the one that the kinyan was chal, but the kinyan was chal for the shliach, and the shliach is kilu selling it to the mishalech? That's l'chura not so clear. What's the havanas advar? So the Kes Mishnah says, he adds to the case that the Amos we're going to learn the hamshach in Perek Beis, that when the shliach goes ahead and buy something for the mishalech, there is a difference. Did he tell the seller that he's buying it for the mishalech, or didn't he tell the seller he's buying it for the mishalech? Whereas if he told the seller that he's buying it for the mishalech and lepel, he made a mistake, so then the mishalech could say, and memele is mevatel the mekach. Masha'enken, if he didn't tell him that he's buying it for the mishalech, so then the pashtus he was buying it for himself, so he has to take achrayis on this kinyan, because bepashtus the lekeach shouldn't lose, because it's a takana for the lekeach that the lekeach shouldn't lose, and then he has to, the shliach has to take achrayis towards the mishalech. So Mamela says the Kesef Mishnah, that's the difference. In halacha beis, when he says choizer, he means in the case when the shliach didn't say clearly that he's taking achrayis. Masha'en came in a case where the halacha gimel over there, and the shliach didn't say clearly that the shliach fakir over there, the shliach said clearly that it's he's doing it for the mishalech, and therefore the mishalech could be chezer. Masha'en came in halacha gimel where he didn't say that he's doing it for the mishalech. he said that Ki'ilu is doing it for himself, so therefore it's Ki'ilu he bought the karka, and he has to take achrayus towards the Mishalech. My sense doesn't say that in the Rambam. In the Rambam it doesn't say that. Now, Pashtus the Ka'efan, in the case of Halacha Beis, over there he authorized the shliach to do something. He doesn't say how that he gave him any money. He authorized him to go ahead and sell or to go ahead and buy. So Memela, so he tells him, over here it's talking about he gave money to the shliach, and he told the shliach to buy karka. It could be a specific karka. Lepel, the shliach went ahead with this money, and he brought the money to this mishalech. So it could be, as we discussed before, this shliach is not really maybe so much part of the case. Could be he's not so much part of the case. In other words, the shliach be'emes just brought the money of the mishalech. He brought the money of the mishalech to the person that he's buying the karka from, and lepel he bought the karka shlei b'achrayus. So it's not like he's the one that's making the sale. The sale is being made through the money of the mishalech. So it could be over here he can't title it kundish lavusi, and the sale is not a sale because lepel sof kol sof, the money that came from the mishalech, the mishalech sent this money, and the shliach brought this money to the buyer. It could be they discussed it before as well. It's just that the details weren't discussed. So now, since lepel the shliach, in other words, to be mavatal the sale could be, I'm saying a possibility. To mavatal the sale over here, maybe you can't, because lepel the money was the mishalech's money, and he sent that money to a specific buyer. Masha'enke liknus lekarka and kanol shel b'achrayus. Lepel he made a problem in the deal. So Memela here the shliach has to take achrayus for the deal. I'm just saying a possibility, but it's the fetish not like the Kesef Mishnah. The Kesef Mishnah says that this case is talking about that he was megala, that it was for the Mashalech. In this case, it wasn't megala the Mashalech. We're saying, and the Rambam doesn't say that. Let's read the Rambam again. Allah again. Nasan mois l'shluche liknis lekarka. He gave him money to buy a piece of karka. It doesn't say a specific piece of karka, but you could touch liknis lekarka, a specific piece of karka. And v'kanol, and he bought him that piece of karka, shalei b'achrayus. So the din is hareze ivus. So the shliach did an ivus, and therefore v'ashliach lekech esel la'atzmi shalei b'achrayus k'mei asa. Even though it was the money of the Mishalech, the Shayla, how could we say that? But nevertheless, the takana, it's like a din takana, that it should be considered the shliachs, it should be his, that he k'mei asa, and the chayzra umeichra l'mishalech b'achrayus. Hail the kana esim ma'esav, since ultimately he bought it with the money of the Mishalech, and b'achrayus al shliach. V'chen kol kiyetz b'zeh. Lefichach, im hisna olav, she'aso shliach, if he made clearly at night, that he's making a shliach ben letak and ben la'avis, afilu mochel shava meya dinner. Shava meya b'dinner. He told them, I'm making you a shliach to sell my nechasim ben letak and ben la'avis. Whether you make a mistake or you don't make a mistake, you are authorized to go ahead and sell my nechasim. And he went ahead and sold something that was worth 100, and he only got a dinner. A lokach shava dinner, or he authorized to buy from me, and he bought something that was only worth a dinner, and he paid meya. Is any yachalach zebei v'chayv ha'mishalech litnei k'fiat night. So over here again the Rambam speaks about any yachalach zebei. So like the Rambam, like going back to halacha beis. I'm just saying that's also a little bit shver in the Kesef Mishnah. According to Kesef Mishnah, the yachalach zebei is in halacha beis, and halacha gimel wasn't really a question of yachalach zebei. I'll call upon. So any yachalach zebei v'chayv ha'mishalech litnei k'fiat night. So the kudas adin is that if the shliach either he's over al divrei ha'mishalech, or he's ma'avis, he does something wrong, he pays more, he buys it for more, or he sells it for less, or he doesn't make sure that when he buys karki, he should get a chrayis nechasim. So then that's a chsarn in the shlichus. And we learned before that in one case the Rambam said that it could be chayzer from the wholesale, and in one place the Rambam said that he could that there'll be a deal between the shliach and the mishalech, that the shliach will be achroi for the mishalech. It's kilu, the shliach bought it and he sold it to the mishalech, and now he has achrayis to the mishalech. There's an issue. What would be, let's say the mishalech says, I'm not interested in the shliach's achrayis because the shliach doesn't have any money. So the shliach went ahead and bought for me a karka, and lepel that karka, I don't have achrayis on it. And the shliach's achrayis is not something which is really worth to me anything, because lepel the shliach is a poor person and he can't really be achroi. If this karka is lost, I'm not going to have anything. So l'chura, I'm not interested in it. So could the shliach b'chiyah gavna be choizer from the whole deal? Could the shliach b'chiyah gavna be choizer? So on that, it brought down from the Achreinim that in such a case, the Moicher could mon from the Shliach to pay him right away. No, it's not Achrayis. He wants him to pay him right away. He wants him, he should keep the karka and should pay him right away for the money. So again, so it's coming out over here that the Shliach is the one ending up with the karka, and the Mishalech is telling, I want to have my money back. Halacha Dalet. Ha'ema l'shluchei mecheli misada shali beiso. He authorized him to sell a beiso. U'machar le'beiso sayim. Lepeli ended up selling a sosayim. So the saw of what he sold was beseder. The problem was only the sosayim that he sold. So the din is hareza meisav al dvarav. That's not called he was mishana dvarav. That's called meisav al dvarav, and therefore v'kana lekech beiso bilvad. The lekech is kaina beiso. However, Amalei Mecheli Beisosayim and Umachele Beiso, he told him to sell a Beisosayim, and Lepeli sold a Beiso. He maybe didn't want to sell two separate parcels of land. He wanted to sell one big parcel of Beisosayim. So that's Hareza Maver al Dvarav. That's not called Meisav al Dvarav. That's called Maver al Dvarav. And therefore, V'lekana lekech is not kind of anything. It's nachmo. When he tells him to buy a Beiso, to sell a Beiso, and he sold Beisosayim, so only a Beiso was sold. A Beiso was authorized. The fact that he added, it doesn't take away from the Beiso. So the second Beiso is taka not sold, the first Beiso is sold. If that person wants to take it, obviously. If the buyer is willing to take only one Beiso and not two Beiso. Masha'inken, if he tells him to sell two Beiso, and Lepeli sold in one Beiso, that's called the Over al Dvar, because that would mean that we have to sell two separate parcels. He doesn't want to sell two parcels of land. He only wants to make one sale. He told him, I want you to sell me this field, and I want you to sell it to one person. And Lepel v'holach hashliach u'mocher l'shnayim is memkari bottle shari over al dvarav. However, Amar le'mecheli soda, he didn't specify to one person. He just said Amar le'mecheli soda, and v'lei pirish, he didn't specify to how many people I should sell it to. Is afilu mocher le'meir, even if he sold it to 100 people, is memkari kaim, the memkar is kaim. Halacha. Hanoisen mois l'shluchei likach behamchitim emin memin ischer. He went ahead and he told him to, he gave him money, and he told him to buy chitim emin memin ischer. And v'lei lakach, and the person, the shleich, didn't do what he told him to do. Is only olav el tarumas. I mean, there can't be any more than tarumas. There can't be that. I mean, look what it's possible. Only olav el tarumas. Now noselei mois likach behamchitim. He gave him money to buy chitim. Regardless of why he wanted the chitim, the mishalech, he wanted chitim, and v'halach v'lakar bem scheira, and he went ahead and instead of buying chitim, he took this money and he bought seirim. Is impochasu demezeh shalokach? If lepel the seirim went down in value, in other words, he took money and he spent the money on seirim. So if that seirim went down in value, is pochasu l'shliach. So then the shliach loses out. Why? Since he was a mishana, of what the mashalech told him to do, so memela, it's his loss. He loses. Now again, what comes out from here? Is that be'emes the kinyan is chal. That's what comes out. The kinyan is chal. It's just the question is now there was a loss. The seirim went down in value. So the shliach is the one that has to accept the loss. Again, you have to clear why is the kinyan chal. L'chura, since he was mishana from the das balabayis, so l'chura the balabayis should be able to say that you didn't do what I told you to do. So shlichus. So again, the answer is that over here it's talking about that he didn't tell. It doesn't. Again, all this doesn't say in Rambam. Again, the answer is going to be that it's talking about over here. He didn't tell the seller that he's a shliach. Memele, it's keilu, he's buying it for himself, and therefore the mishalech can't say that you are eval das balabais because the kinyan was chal, because lepel do lekech, the meicher didn't know that he was a shliach from the mishalech, and memele, now there's a dinu dvarim between the shliach and the meicher because the kinyan was chal. Again, you have to say in this case that it's talking about that the seller didn't know that he was a shliach. Again, it's not clear. But again, over here it's talking about that he gave money. He gave money to the shliach, but Lepel, he gave money lika b'mchitim, and Lepel, he took this money, he went and bought seirim. So really, what we said before is not really a teretz over here. But I'll call upon Nachamol. Hanesin mois l'shluchei lika b'mchitim, emin memin ischer, and v'lei lakach, he didn't buy a le'olav el tarumas. Noslei mois lika b'mchitim, and ben lachila ben l'scher, regardless of why the mishalech wanted the chitim, and v'halach v'lakach b'mscherim. Seirim is in pachasud mezeh shalakach. If what he bought went down in value, is pachasul l'shliach, so the shliach loses on it. Mipnei shehu mishana. However, v'im hisifu dmeim, if the price went up on Seirim, it went up in price, so then hisifu balamois. So then the balamois gets the gain. So the loss is on the shliach and the gain is on the balamois. But the nekuda is that even though he gave him money to buy chitim and he went and bought Seirim, so the Seirim were bought. The question is only who's gaining and who's losing. Now, hoya ashar kotzev yadua. Lepel, this is talking lav dafka with Seirim. In other words, he gave him money to buy something, and there was a set market price for this item. And lepel veisifu l'shliach b'minyan. They gave the shliach more than the normal is. And the shliach went ahead and bought, let's say, a saw. There was a saw for $1, and now they gave him for $1 a saw and a half. They gave him more than what you normally get for this price. Is kol sheisifu le'ameichrim, whatever he got extra, there's that extra, is areya shel shneim. We divide it between the shliach and the mishalech. Nachamol. The mishalech gave the shliach money to go ahead and buy schera for him. So that money that he's buying the schera, which is the normal price for the schera, all that schera belongs to the mishalech. The shliach is just a shliach. Now, if lepel, the shliach ended up getting more schera than you would normally get for this type of money, he was given more schera, so the extra schera that was given to the shliach for the sale is divided between the shliach and the mishalech. V'chelik hatesus hashliach im balamois. However, that's talking about if there was a fit price for the item, and it's clear that they gave him more than the regular price. However, it wasn't really such a fixed price for it. It was a price that fluctuates a little bit. So then, hakel balamois. So then, lepel. We're saying since you're buying it on behalf of the mishaleach, and it's not so clear that you got extra, but it's not so clear you got extra because lepel is not such a fixed price. So therefore, all of the extra goes to the balamois. Halacha vov. Mi shehoya chayiv lechaveri momen. Someone owed someone money, bei mishum milva, bei mishum bikodne schiros, and now v'nosen amois biyad hashliach, v'omer lehelech momen zel lebal chevi. So now over here he charged someone with paying up a debt. Now the hamshah to what we spoke about before in the beginning, that lechura this is not really a shlichus. Whereas when we're speaking to someone to go ahead and buy something for you, or to go ahead and sell something for you, so that person is making a ma'asakinyan for you, and that's l'chura a goy can do. Masha'inkin, to go pay up a debt, anyone could do it. It's just you could send a koif. It's not negeya the shliach of it. It's just a ma'asa bound. It's just there's a dinner, an exchange of a service. You're going ahead and delivering a chayv on my behalf. So nasna mois biyad hashliach v'amalei heilech mamen zel bal chevi. So the din is ein hashliach tzorich litapel bei v'litn le b'fnei edom. You didn't tell me to give it to him in front of Edom, so therefore you could go and pay up the debt. And I was assuming that they trust each other. All you told me is to pay up the debt, so I assume you trusted him. Meil, I'm paying up the debt, and that's it. However, v'im amal l'shliach al tifrech chayv ze ele be'edom. If you told him clearly, I want you to pay up the debt, but I want there should be Edom there when you pay up the debt. Upari shlei be'edom lepel. The shliach went ahead and paid this debt without Edom. Is chayiv l'shalim. So now, if the person that he owed money to claims that he never got the money, so now he's claiming that money again, and now lepel he tainas I gave you the money, so then he has to pay. V'cheinem hoya achei b'shtar. If lepel was a chei b'shtar, in other words, the leva is sending money to the malva, and the malva has a shtar. So now it's pashut that the leva, even if he didn't say clearly that I want you to get the shtar, but it's pashut. Knows if the leva, there's no shtar, the malva doesn't have a shtar. So over here, so the leva lav dafke wanted that he should give the malva be'edim. Masha'en kain if the malva has a shtar, so it's pashut that the leva doesn't want to pay the money without getting the shtar back. Whether he told him first take the shtar and then give him the money. And there was no Edom there, and he didn't take the shtar. Is either way he definitely told him, he meant that he should be misakin, he should take the shtar. And when he gives the money, he should demand the shtar. And if he gave the money and he didn't demand the shtar, or he didn't demand the shtar before he gave the money, or at least demand the shtar after he gave the money, but Al Kolpon, if he didn't demand the shtar, so that's called an ivus, and therefore he could say, listen, I gave you money, and that you didn't do what you were meant to do with it. So basically, you hurt. So maybe you're chayiv. So the shliach is chayiv to pay up to the mishalech for losing that money. That's the halacha zayin. Hashliach moish biyode biyat shluchei. A person sends money again biyat shluchei. V'amarlein, it tells shliach again. All these shluchim are again messengers. They're not. It's not really a din shliach over here. The din shliach over here is only legabi the din of tainus. No, it's like a hilchas benegeh, like a tein v'nitten. That's the hilchas of these shluchim. The hilchas tein v'nitten of these shluchim. It's not really the shlichos that we're used to shlichos of a person being able to make a chales for someone. Again, Ashleach moish biyadi biyat shluchi. He sends money biyat shluchi. V'amar le heilech man nezel leplenish ani chayvle. Go bring him this money that I owe. And v'halach v'nosan le'shlei be'edim. And lepel he gave it to him shlei be'edim. And as we said, that since he didn't tell him to give it in front of Edim, and he gave it shlei be'edim, so that's beseder. He didn't do anything wrong. Now lepel ashliach heima nasati. The shliach says, I gave him. You gave me the money. I gave it to him. The pale and the Balchev are telling I never got the money. And they're all three standing over here. Now normally the din is that when a person claims that someone owes him money, and lepel, it's not clear, it knows the teveya is a tainus shema, so if a teveya is a tainus shema, the nitva doesn't have to swear. Because you only have to swear a shvus hesis, even if the Tivei is a Tainus Bari, Masha'ingriv is a Tainus Shema, so then you don't have to swear Shavuos Heses. So over here, the question is, did the Shliach actually give the money to the person that the Mishalech owed the money to? Now, the Mishalech doesn't know. He doesn't really know. Maybe he did. Maybe the person that he owed the money to is lying. Lepel, the Shliach is saying, I gave the money. So the Mashalech is saying, but maybe you didn't give the money. So a maybe is not going to be Mechayev the Shliach a Shvuah. But over here, since the other person, in other words, the person that he owed the money to, is tiny that he never got the money, so his tiny causes that this shliach should have to swear Shavuos Heses. So even though the toyin itself, the shliach has no dinu dvarim with the person that he owed money to, that Mishalech owed money to. His dinu dvarim is to the Mishalech. The Mishalech gave him money. The question is, did you give the money to that person or didn't you give the money to the person? He says, I gave the money to that person. The Mashalech says, maybe you gave it. I don't know. But that person is claiming he didn't give it. So from that person's claim that he didn't give it, that entitles to the Mashalech to demand a Shavuos Heses from the Shliach. That's this thing. The Shliach has to swear Shavuos Heses Shenosan. No Balchev Yapel. The Balchev and the Pale is Nishba Shavuos HaTeira Shalei Lokach. Now, Lashon Rambam says Shavuos HaTeira, but it doesn't really mean Shavuos HaTeira. Because Lepel, what's the Shavuos HaTeira over here? The Shliach doesn't have a din of an Eid. There's no din Shavuos HaTeira. It means, since he's a Nishba V'Netel, he's going to be a Nishba V'Netel, so therefore that's a Shavuos HaMishnah, which is like a Shavuos HaTeira. No, a Shavuos Heses is without a Kitzes Chayfetz, like we'll learn Behemshech in Ilchas Tein V'Nitten. A Shavuos Heses is without a Kitzes Chayfetz. And a Nishba V'Netel is with a Kitzes Chayfetz. So that's bedugma of a Shavuos HaTeira. So Balchei v'Yapel Nishba Shavuos HaTeira Shalei Lokach. And then v'Yishalem Halol Balchei ele Bal Pikod. So then he has to pay either the Balchei or the Bal Pikod, whoever he owed the money to, who owed the Pikod to. So again, you have Reuven sent Shimon to give money to Levi, because Reuven owed Levi money. So now Shimon says that he gave the money to Levi. Reuven says, I gave the money to Shimon to give to Levi. Levi says, I never got the money. So the din is Shimon has to swear that he actually gave the money to Levi. That he has to swear towards Reuven. Why does he have a chiyuv to swear towards Reuven? Because since there's a Levi that's signing and never got the money, so that entitles Reuven that Shimon should swear to him. And on the other end, Levi also has to swear to get the money from Reuven. Now Reuven, who's tithing against Reuven? Who's tithing against Levi? Reuven doesn't really have a tithing against Levi. But since Shimon is tithing that he gave it, So Lepel, that causes that Levi, in order for him to get the money, he has to have a Shvuas Nishba V'Neitel. He has to be a Nishba V'Neitel. And that Nishba V'Neitel is more Chomur than the Shvuas Hesed that Shliach gives. That's a Shvuah Kein Teir. That's this din. Now this din is Afilo Hoya Shluchim Shtayim. Even if he sent 2 Shluchim, because those 2 Shluchim don't have a din, in other words, they don't really have a din of Edim, Shahri Chayov, Lishava Heses. Because Lepel, they're also being mond. Where's the money? And they have to swear a Heses towards the Mishaleach that they gave away the money. So if they're going to say that Levi received the money, when they're saying that Levi received the money, that's really helping them. It's, in other words, if we're going to accept their edus, that Levi actually received the money, so they're not going to have to swear any Shvuas Heses, because there's not going to be any issues. Levi has to pay the money. Levi received the money. The only reason why Reuven is money from the Edom of Shvuas Heses is because Lepel, we're not accepting. In other words, it's working together. It works together. Since Lepel, these Edom have to swear a Shvuas Heses towards Reuven, because they're also suspected. So what? Somewhat. Maybe they never gave the money to Levi, so therefore, since they owe a Shvuas Heses towards Reuven, so therefore they're not neman outs Edim towards Levi. They're not neman outs Edim towards Levi. It's Mela, then there's no Edim that Levi got the money. There's no Edim that Levi got the money. Levi claims he didn't get the money, so he's entitled to the money. But on the other hand, he has to swear because the Shluchim or the Shliach is tiny, he gave the money. And the Shliach also has to swear towards the Mishalech. Now, this whole din of swearing that the Shliach has to swear, and that this Levi has to swear, the one that the money was owed to, or the one that the Bikadon belonged to, Bamedvar Mamurim, that there's a Shvuah, is B'Shahaya Shliach Makrish Balchev. The Shliach is standing here, and he's claiming, I gave the money to this Balchev, and the Balchev is claiming, I didn't get the money. Them all 3 standing. So there's Reuven, Shimon, and Levi. Reuven is the Mishalech. He claims, I sent the Shliach with the money. Levi is claiming, I sent Shimon with the money. Levi is claiming, I never got the money. So Levi has to swear to take the money from Shimon, and from Reuven rather, and Shimon has to swear because Reuven is paying the money again. And Levi is not around. He's just telling him, I did what you told me to do. He can't make him swear. Who's standing against him? Reuven sent Shimon to give the money to Levi. Shimon comes back and says, I gave the money to Levi. Levi is not around here. In other words, Levi comes now to Reuven. He says, listen, where's the money? And Reuven says, what do you mean, where's the money? I sent Shimon with the money to give you. Lepel, Shimon is not around. Shimon is not around. Is again, so Levi can't, Reuven can't even mashbia Levi a heses. Reuven has no time against Levi. Levi is tying, I never got the money. And Reuven doesn't know that he got the money. Reuven only knows that he gave Shimon the money to give to Levi. That Shimon gave the money, he doesn't know. And Shimon is not here to claim that he gave the money. So therefore, Levi gets the money without a shvur, and he doesn't even have to swear shvuas heses. Ubo bal chev l'tvei Levi ene yochel lashbi heses shli pari hashliach shari en kan misha tein all of tainas vadi shalakach. There's no one that's tying a tainas vadi against Levi. Elamachrim halev v'cherim stam. So in other words, Reuven, because mimachrim say that anyone that's taking money with me shalev kedin should be b'cherim. And then a mishalim achev sha'ala v'chein kol kiyetzim. So the Nekudas Adin is that over here, Reuven, there's Reuven, Shimon, and Levi, and Lepel, Reuven doesn't really have a Tainus Vadi, not on Shimon, and not on Levi. Levi is tying a Tainus Vadi that Reuven owes him the money, and Reuven has no Tainus Vadi against Shimon. But Lepel, since Levi is speaking against Shimon, so therefore that entitles Reuven to a shvuah from Shimon, if Levi is around. And since Shimon is speaking against Levi, so that entitles to Reuven, the Levi should be a Nishba V'Neitel from Reuven. Masha'enkin, if not Shimon is around, so then Levi is entitled to his money without a shvuah. And if Levi is not around, so Shimon, it doesn't have to swear shvuas heses towards Reuven. Halacha ches. Reuven shesholach ksav l'Shimon. Reuven sent a letter to Shimon, a note. V'amalei, mana sheyesh li biyadcha, sholcheu li biyad Levi. So Shimon gets a note from Reuven saying that he should give the money with Levi. is imrotzel l'shalche, if lepeil Shimon is willing to send this money with Levi, is eini chay b'achriyus, and he's not chay b'achriyus. Ben shoya milv, ben shoya pikadon. So in other words, Levi owes Reuven money. Levi owes Reuven money. Now Levi owes Reuven money. So now Reuven is asking Levi to bring, either he has a pikadon of his or he owes him money. And now he's asking Levi to send the money that he owes him with Shimon. So Lepel, once he sends it with Shimon, he did what Reuven told him to do. So mainly he fulfilled his obligation towards Reuven. That's only if Shimon recognizes that this is Reuven's handwriting. Now Reuven is tiny. Reuven now is coming along and is money his chayv, he's money his pikadon. And Shimon is tiny. What do you mean? You sent me a letter saying that I should send it with Reuven. And Reuven is tiny, I never sent you such a letter. So the thing is that Yishav Haleva Heses, Sheksav Yodi Bo Ilai, Ulefichach Shalav Yipater. So he should swear. He should swear that he received such a letter with his Ksav Yad, and therefore I sent it. And as far as I was concerned, I'm potter as soon as I give it with Levi, because you're trusting Levi. That's what I saw in your Ksav Yad. Because this is what my Rebbe's paskent. But if it wasn't a ksav, if the ksav wasn't ksav yodeh, the Levi is not claiming that I knew there was a ksav yod. I got a ksav, but I can't say that I recognize that it's your handwriting. Simon and Ve'esi should be named B'yichud. There were some signs that they had between each other, but it wasn't Mamash's handwriting. So there were certain signs that he wrote, like certain rimozim, that they knew that between each other, that if they write these rimozim, it means that I'm writing it. But on the other hand, there wasn't Mamash's handwriting. Reuven is tiny. I never sent such a letter. And other people just fooled you, and if you gave them, but it wasn't with my authorization. So then is Shimon Chai B'Achriyusei u'mishalim le Reuven. He has to pay Reuven the money. Achar sheyachrim al mi shesholach ksav zeh midaite v'leyeda. Because he makes a chayim, he's not really sure that Reuven never sent this letter. So he says, if anyone sent this letter and he's claiming he didn't send this letter, so he should be b'chayim. But Lepel, Reuven has a claim on Shimon. Now Shimon is claiming that he sent the money to Reuven. So if his claim is that he sent the money to Reuven with Reuven's authorization, in other words, I saw Ksav Yad of Reuven, which means Reuven authorized me to send it, so I'm claiming basically that I paid back Reuven. Masha'inkin, if I said that I saw Ksav Yad, and really I wasn't sure that it was Reuven's, I just assumed it was Reuven's, but I can't really say that I knew it was Reuven's, so then it's not really a claim. I owe you the money, and I don't really have a claim that I knew that I was paying you back when I'm giving the money to Levi. So therefore he has to pay back. That in such a case, where Shimon is claiming that he got a ksav from Reuven, which said that he should give it with Levi, Reuven is claiming that he never gave this ksav. Lepel, Shimon is claiming that I gave it with Levi to give to you. I can't claim that it was your ksav, but it's a ksav that I assumed was your ksav. So because of this taina of Shimon, so therefore some yesh mishaheda that because of this taina of Shimon, so before Shimon pays Reuven should be a nishba v'netel. So in other words, it's not really such a strong claim of Shimon. Shimon is just claiming that I had a ksav. We're not really sure. Reuven is taining that it was a forgery. It's not really, it has no validity, that ksav. So the question is, does that fact that Shimon is claiming that he got such a ksav entitle him that Reuven should be a nishba v'netel? Before he takes the money, he should be a nishba. Those be'emes is for sure that Reuven is entitled to the money, because Shimon doesn't have any serious claim against it. But on the other hand, the question is, does Reuven have to swear before he takes the money? Halacha tes, Levi sheba b'shlichas Reuven v'lokach chamishim mishimon. Levi came, knows Reuven wanted to borrow money from Shimon. So the story is, this is the story of Levi and the story of Shimon, is that Reuven sent Levi to take 50 from Shimon. Shimon gave the 50 to Levi, and Levi brought back the 50 to Reuven. So Levi sheba b'shlichas Reuven v'lokach chamishim mishimon. and Bepashtus he brought it to Reuven. Now Ubar Reuven, now Lepel, what happens is Shimon is claiming that Reuven owes him 50. Ubar Reuven v'Amar leishil achtev likach ale'esrim ve'esrim belvad hevi. So Shimon is claiming that Levi came and asked me for 50. I gave Levi 50, and presumably he brought it to Reuven, and Memela Reuven owes me 50. Reuven is saying, I only asked Levi to get me 20, and he brought me 20. That's what I owe you. So the din is Hari Reuven nishba shelishol chilavi ale'esrim ve'esrim belvad hevi. Reuven is only a maid on 20, so he has to pay the 20, and he has to swear that he only owes 20. Now that din kedin made the mixes, like a made the mixes, because l'chura Shimon is money by him 50, and he's being made on 20, so mainly he has to swear like a made the mixes. Now the mice says he's not really a regular made the mixes, because a normal made the mixes pshat is the teveya is taining a tainas bari. Masha'inkan over here, Shimon, which he's the teveya, can't be taining a tainas bari. He doesn't know for a fact that Levi actually brought Reuven the 50. He only knows that he claims, and he's tiny, that he gave Levi the 50, but could be Levi Taka only gave Reuven 20. Maybe Reuven only asked Levi for 20, and Reuven Taka only, and Reuven only got 20. He doesn't have a tainas bari against Reuven. But since the pale, there's a tainas bari, in other words, together with Levi, there's kilo a tainas bari against Reuven. In other words, Levi plus Shimon, with Levi and Shimon together. Shimon is claiming he gave the money to Levi. Levi is claiming he gave the money to Reuven. So together there's a tainas bari against Reuven. So we're using the tainas bari of Levi to cause Reuven to swear a shvuas made the mixes to Shimon. That's what the Kesef Mishnah says. So just like before we had that we're using the tain of the other person, which is a tainas bari, to be mechayev a shvuas heses. So Alderas over here, we're using the tainas bari of Levi to cause that Reuven should be chayiv a shvuas made of a mixas to Shimon, which is a davar mechudish, because lechura the tainas bari has to come from the teveya. And Ba'amis the Shach argues with this. He says it can't be. You can't have a chiyuv of a made of a mixas of a din teira from a tainas bari from someone else. It has to be the tainas bari of the teveya. So you can't use the tainas bari of Levi. Just a vices kid made the mixes doesn't mean mamish didn't made the mixes. But just like a made the mixes has to swear, so over here also maybe it's a shvua k'enshel teira, but it's not a shvua it's made the mixes mamish. So Memela bekitzer, so Reuven, since he's has a din of a made the mixes, and he has to swear towards Shimon that he only got 20. Now Levi, Lepel, as a result of Levi, Shimon is not. Knows Levi is claiming that he brought the 50 to Reuven. Lepel, he brought the 50 to Reuven. Lepel, Shimon ends up, and Shimon is claiming I gave Levi 50, and that 50, and Levi was supposed to bring that 50 to Reuven. Reuven is claiming he never got the 50, he only got 20. So Lepel, Shimon has a taina against Levi. Now there's no Shimon doesn't have a tainas bari against Levi, because Lepel, Shimon doesn't know that Levi didn't bring Reuven the 50. But on the other hand, together with the tainas Reuven, there's a taina against Levi. It's like we had in the previous case. In other words, if you're Matzarev, the taina of Reuven, so he's saying Shimon is taining. Listen, I'm Lepel losing 30. I claim I gave you 50, and Lepel, you claim that you gave the 50 to Reuven, but Reuven is claiming he never got it. So Lepel, therefore, is the Levi has to swear a shvuas heses towards Shimon. This is the tziruf of Reuven's taina against the story, and Shimon claims he gave Levi the money. And Lepel, he doesn't know that Levi didn't give the money, but Reuven's taining he didn't give the money. So therefore, Levi is mechuyev to swear shvuas heses. So therefore, the Levi nishba shvuas heses shachamishim shenasatili nasati leReuven. That's this din. And here, v'yishalim Shimon mebeisei im hoyechayev leReuven. So Pasha means if the story was different. In other words, this whole story was talking about that Levi was coming b'shlichus Reuven in order to get a loan. What happens if it's fakert? That Levi was coming b'shlichus Reuven to pay back a loan. And the question is, was it paid back or not? Was it actually paid back? So Levi sheba b'shlichus Reuven and v'lokach chamishim Shimon in order to get paid back a loan, not to get a loan, but to get paid back a loan. So now the question is, did Shimon actually pay it back? So Reuven is claiming that he only asked him for 20 and he got back 20. And Lepel, Shimon is claiming that he gave him 50, he gave him the whole 50. So the din is v'yishalim Shimon mebeisei im hoyechayev leReuven v'chein kol kietz b'zeh. Whereas the case that we have over here was that Reuven was borrowing from Shimon. So in other words, Reuven sent Levi to take money from Shimon to borrow from him. What would be fakert? Reuven was the malva, and Shimon was the leva. And Reuven sent Levi to go get the money from Shimon. Now the question is, how much money did Shimon pay up? So Shimon is claiming, I paid up 50. And Reuven is claiming that he only got 20. So it's a fakert story. In other words, Reuven is claiming that same story. Reuven is claiming that he only got 20. But before, Reuven was claiming he only got 20 as a loan. Here we're saying Reuven is claiming that he only got 20 as a payment. So over here again, so since Lepel, there's Levi involved. Levi is claiming that Reuven got the whole 50. Whereas Shimon sent 50 with Levi. Or they're claiming they sent 50 with Levi. And Lepel, Reuven is claiming that I only got 20. I only got paid back 20. So now Shimon still owes Levi the other 30. But over here, Reuven has to be a Nishba V'Netel. Because Lepel, since there's Levi, which is saying against him, whereas Shimon does not. Shimon is Ein Yedem Preiticha. So Mele Shimon has to pay Levi. Shimon definitely owed Levi. I'm sorry, Shimon definitely owed Reuven. And Shimon doesn't know if he really paid back. Because Shimon is claiming, I gave Levi 50 to give Reuven. Reuven is claiming, I only got 20. I only got 20 from Levi. Vishalim Shimon mi Beisei.